Hey, what's happening, everybody? I've been thinking the last few days about what kind of video to make because I just got so much stuff in my head. And let me pause this stupid game. Just turn on the Jets game. There's a reason I didn't start it from the beginning, and it's 24-0. Patriots. God, I hate that team. Looks like they're gonna go undefeated for another week. Dude, you got 6 rings, bro. Pack it up, man. Shit. Was it like 8 years in a row in the championship game? Like, dude, seriously, can somebody else have a chance, please, bro? Like, cool, dude. You came from 6th round pick and yada yada. So, jeez, like I don't know him as a person, but as a football player, I can't stand Brady. I just can't stand him. I mean, it's cool. Like, hey, man, I got to watch history happen last year, or earlier this year, but end of last season. But it's like, dude, come on, man. Let somebody else have a chance. How many rings you got to have before you retire? You have more than anyone has ever had. I don't think he's going to quit without 8, at least. So, anyhow. Alright, so I've put off making another video here for a few days because, I don't know, I was just really tired over the weekend, last week, and I got so many ideas in my head and so many things I want to talk about that it's kind of hard to figure out where to go. I kind of like rambling, like I did on my last video, but I at least want like a central focal point to start with, at least. So I'm going to ask, who are you? Not in the philosophical sense, like the video when I was asking what is reality, not what is all this and how do you fit into it, but who are you as a person? Have you defined who you are, or has society or your situation in life or other people dictated who you are? There's a lot of people out there that are however they are, and they don't maybe not want to be that way. There's a lot of people that wish that they could be different than what they are. And I'm here to tell you that it's very, very possible to do just that. So I'm going to share a story of mine. It's probably going to be pretty long. But I just want to show people that, like, it is possible to change who you are as a person. And you don't have to move across the country or move to another country or whatever. I mean, it's possible to do right where you live. I've never left Northwest Indiana, unfortunately. The shithole of America. But I'm not the same person I was, growing up. So, I don't know, let me just start from the beginning. So, growing up, the first 18 years of my life, I'd say 18 and a half, really, I was like a really shy, quiet person. And the thing is like, I was kind of socially awkward because I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to talk to girls. I didn't know how to be, I mean, I don't know. Nobody ever took me under their wing and kind of just showed me the way. So being left to my own devices, it took a while, So all the way through till about the last semester of high school, I was a very quiet, shy person. Really didn't go to parties. Only had a couple friends at a time. And when I was in school, I just didn't talk very much because, like, I didn't really get bullied, but there was, a few people that give me shit here and there, a couple people that like fucking with me. And so I just try to draw as little attention to myself as possible. And growing up, I always thought to myself, like, why don't these people that the cool kids, why didn't they ever give me a chance? So finally, by the time I got to my senior year, a good friend of mine had introduced me to weed, and through my college days, I had a lot of fun. And it was weird in the last semester of high school. For me, I don't know, for other people it might be something different. So I'm not telling you just go out and get high and your life's going to change, although it very well may if you never smoked before. It's an eye-opening experience. But it's like, I guess that when I smoked for the first time and I finally got like just baked out of my mind, I was like, holy shit, this is what everybody's fussing about? Now mind you, this is like 2000, so it wasn't legal anywhere that I know of. There may be some medical stuff, maybe, but I don't think even that was going yet. So something about it just that experience for me made me realize that the world is not what I've been told, or at least not what I understood it to be. Maybe it wasn't that I was told wrong. Maybe I just perceived it wrong. But it kind of started to break me out of my shell. Now, when I say break me out of my shell, I don't just mean pow, you bust out and that's it. It was just like layers to the shell, you know. And over time, I kept digging through more and more layers, and now I'm fucking just, there ain't no shell left. I don't even, you know, it's long gone. And I'm just unapologetically me. Now, that may be a good thing or it may be a bad thing depending on your point of view. You know, some people like me. I'd say most people that I've met seem to like me. I always get a few people that don't. Not really sure what's different about, you know, I mean, I'm just me around people that like me and me around people that don't like me, so it's got to be something to do with them and how they perceive me. It has to be different, but generally speaking, the majority of people I meet have always seemed to like me. So as I got older, like when I graduated high school, I was starting to break out of my shell. Now here's the thing, like, I believe that you could speak things into existence. I never understood that as a kid, but as I've gotten older, I've seen it happen many times to me and to other people. And like, you know, being a quiet, shy, tall, real skinny kid growing up, like I always had it in my mind that like one day, you know, like I always wanted to be able to go to my senior prom with just a beautiful girl, you know, and just kind of get the people that knew me as a quiet person to be like, is that Eric? Really? And by the time my senior prom came, I finally got to have that moment. You know, I thought about it for years and years, and I can't say I took any decisive actions towards it. But being that I started coming out of my shell, I started working at a place in the last semester of my senior year as well. It was a Dairy Queen, and some good-looking girls there, and this one girl ended up being my date to the prom, and I don't know, for years that I thought about what it would be like to have that moment, you know, to kind of surprise everybody. I finally got to have that moment, and it was nice. It was really cool. It was always kind of, I don't know, it's like seeing everybody stop and kind of turn like, what the fuck? You know, it was nice. It was a really nice feeling to have. And when I graduated high school, most of the people I went to school with, I was like, I don't ever want to fucking see these people again. And sorry, I've had a lot of cigarettes today. I'm already at 20 exactly. So my voice might sound a little up and down. But there was a few people in particular that I just did not like. You know, when I graduated, I'm like, thank God I never got to see these handful of people ever again, because I hated these people. And they probably weren't too fond of me either for whatever reason. And that's the irony of it all, is that being this person growing up and not liking a lot of people, but really, really not liking a few people. Well, a couple of years into college, let's see, it would have had to have been my second year of college. One of the guys I went to high school with that was one of the cool kids, I saw him at school, and he wasn't one that I hated, but I didn't really like him, and I saw him walking through the campus. I went to a little satellite college of Indiana University. It was up in Gary, IU Northwest. So when I saw him, I was just going to avoid him, and then I was like, you know what, dude? I know this dude smokes weed. I smoke weed. I'm like, you know what, why not just stop being a dick and just go talk to him and say, hey, man, you want to get high? So I did. And come to find out, he's a pretty cool dude. All that time I didn't like him, I just didn't realize that, you know, a lot of the people that I was always like, hey, man, they never gave me a chance. Well, as it comes to find out, I never gave them a chance either, apparently. And so we started hanging out, smoke, you know, between classes and whatnot. And after a while, I mean, he was still friends with all the same people. And when I turned 20, well, not when I turned, I was about 20 and a half, roughly. And I got my own apartment. And I was the only person, really, that I know of that had his own place. Nobody had families, wives, husbands, kids, none of that shit, no careers yet. You know, people were either in college or they had jobs, so we could still party a lot. Well, this friend of mine started bringing people over to my apartment, and at first I was still a little uneasy. Wasn't very trusting necessarily because I was kind of wondering if these people were setting me up just so they could like trash my apartment or something. And I very quickly felt like an idiot for thinking that because there was one person in particular that I just really did not like. I really, really, really didn't like him. But starting to become friends with all these people that I was not very fond of growing up, and found out that they're all pretty damn cool people. And a lot of them, you know, it told me too, like, damn, man, if we would have known, you know, like, well, you know, it wasn't their fault that I was shy and quiet. So, the one person one of the few that I really didn't like, started coming over, and ironically, not only did he become one of my best friends, even to this day, this is 20 years later, actually, next spring will be 20 years since I graduated. Not only is this dude to this day still one of my best friends, we ended up getting a place together back in around like 2005, so we lived together. I was like, wow, I never saw that coming. And I ended up standing up in his wedding. Definitely did not see that coming. If you would have told me that shit, you know, 15 years prior to his wedding, I would have never thought I'd even have ever seen him again, let alone be standing up in his wedding. And I came to realize quickly after I had graduated that, you know what, the problem wasn't other people. It wasn't. They were just being themselves, and I was the weird one. And I realized that, you know, sometimes that even when you don't like somebody, don't count them out, because you really never know. Now, I could have just, when I saw the dude back at college, you know, I could have just avoided him and just kept, you know, hating people for stupid, petty shit from high school, and, you know, I could have been that person. But I'm glad I wasn't. I'm glad I gave these people a chance. Ironically, pretty much all the people I didn't like growing up, all of them became friends of mine. All of them. I mean, well, there might be a couple that I moved away that I didn't really get to know, but I mean, 99% of the people I didn't like were all my friends. We'd party in my apartment all the time and just have a blast of a time. In my first apartment, I think I was there about a year and a half. Oh my God, that place forever changed me, because it was because of this place that all of us had a common place to go to. Nobody's parents were around. There were no rules. We just did whatever we wanted to do, and we had a good time. I have a lot of fond memories of that time, especially our 4th of July party we had. Not my first summer, it was the second summer that I lived there. Man, I still tell stories about that party. It was a hell of a time. And any night of the week, just start picking up the phone and calling people, and next thing you know, in a little one-bedroom place, you couldn't even hardly walk through it. There's so many people. And as I looked around, I'm like, man, I used to not like all these people. I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with me? And I don't know, I just, when I was younger, I just didn't know how to take things, you know. And it was, my point in this story is telling you is that the person that I always wanted to be, I ended up becoming, because I thought about it a lot and a lot and a lot over the years, and it just kind of manifested itself, you know. The right situations came up at the right times, and it just all worked itself out, and I didn't really take any real conscious steps towards that. It just kind of happened. But if you want to be something, or you want to be a certain way, or whatever it is, you got to believe it. If you believe that it's not possible, it's never going to be possible. You know, as time has went on, no, you know what, there was one more thing. As I was growing up too, I always had hoped, I always just would think about, like, how cool it would be to one day down the road, you know, be hanging out with those people at a party, and just walk in with a girl who was just so fucking beautiful that it was like a scene from a movie would happen, you know, record, everybody turn and look, and I got to have that moment too. That was one of the coolest times in my life, that I thought that this girl I was seeing in college, her and her friend were just both unbelievably beautiful. And one of my buddies was having a party at his parents' house in the garage, and these girls came up. We went out to get them, came back in, and it's exactly what happened. Everybody was like, holy shit. You know, and at that point, had been friends with these people for a while, but had a lot of, concert trips and lots of parties and stuff. But that moment that I had always thought about, it's like thinking about it in my head for so many years, it just fucking kind of happened. And to be honest with you, I don't even know how I ended up getting this girl, because I had no business hanging out with this girl at that time. Man, still one of the most beautiful girls I've ever known. I can't say she's still the most beautiful at this point in time, but at the time, I mean, she's still one of. And I don't know, like I was in college, and I was coming out of my shell, but I wasn't exactly just really open, And it's like I see this girl walking. This is another one of those moments of where how you can speak shit into existence. This girl, I seen her coming in, walking into school, and then she walked over in this other building over here, and I don't even think she saw me over there because it was so far away. But when I saw this girl, I'd never seen her before, and I was just like, holy shit. I was so just in awe of this girl that I was like, dude, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to pull this off, but somehow I have got to hang out with that girl. And I saw her talking to a girl that was in a class of mine. So one day we had a test, and I saw that girl that was in my class sitting in the lobby, and I was like, well, shit, I might as well just take a chance to sit down and talk to her for a few minutes. And 3 minutes later, this girl walks in. The girl from my class introduces me to her, and then I don't know if I ever saw her talk. I mean, other than class, I don't think I ever talked to that girl again that introduced us. And, we started hanging out. I mean, we hung out for about 4 months. But, towards the end, I ended up finding out that she had a boyfriend for about 2.5 years, and she remembered me at the time. Like, I was still a scrawny kid that was just trying to, like, figure out who he was, and this girl remembered me from, like, 6 months before, and when she met me, when this girl introduced us, she was like, damn, I finally got a chance to get to know this guy, and she broke up with her boyfriend, so she can take some time to get to know me. In the end, she ended up going back to him because she was in love with him still, but I got to have her for a little while. And I'll tell you what, that girl was something else. That girl was something else, man. But it was like just seeing her, I'm like, dude, I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. And I mean, dude, it didn't take a week, and this girl was asking me for my number and calling me. It was before texting, shortly before texting. Shit, I didn't even have a cell phone yet. She had to call my house phone and leave a message on my answering machine. And, but yeah, it was just one of them things where it's like I saw her, I just said what I wanted, and I believed it. I don't know why I believed it. I had no business ever having this girl, especially somebody that already was dating somebody for that long. And I believed it, and it happened, man. It happened. And a little while after that, maybe about a year after that, I'd started dating this girl again that I had dated right at the end of high school. Like, right as I got out of high school, I started college, I dated this girl for a while. We broke up for a couple of years. She went to college. She came back, and for some dumbass reason, we thought it'd be a good idea to get back together for a couple of years, and it was just fucking miserable, man. Fighting, arguing. And at this time, I still, like, I've been kind of, I don't know. After that time, we finally got away from each other, because neither one of us, we're like each other's first love. Neither one of us wanted to admit it was over, so we just kept dragging it out. So, once that was over, I went through a party bender for a few years, and I met another girl, and we got, dated for a few years, and that ended up ending. And then I kind of went through some, I don't know, I didn't want to say depression, because there's actually real shit that people are depressed about. And I let myself be depressed over a fucking girl, which is just the stupidest shit I've ever fucking heard. And if you're anybody out there is depressed over a guy or a girl, just fucking get over it and move on, man, because it ain't worth your time. I promise it ain't. But I believe everything happens for a reason. And the person that I was, say, the beginning of my senior year in high school, I don't even think I recognize him. I don't even know who that person is anymore. That was like fucking 10 lifetimes ago. And I just kind of started to become the person that I wanted to be. And, like, I'd start a new job. And when I start a new job, it's usually quiet for about a month. You know, the old me was still kind of in there a little bit, and I don't want to start talking. I know who until I knew who liked who didn't like who was fucking who, whatever, you know. And then I would just open up and just never shut up. Well, I mean, I'm at the point now where it's like if I start a new job, I'm just yammering from day one. I'm just me now. And it took a long time to get to where I'm at, but believing it was possible is an essential step. And anybody out there, regardless of what you got going on in your life, if you want change, you have to believe it. I'm not going to say just because if you believe it, it's going to happen. But that's definitely the first step. And the more you believe it, the more you're going to subconsciously start taking steps towards what it is that you want, you know. And I've been going through like another mental awakening lately. It's not the last 14, 15 months, you know. I kind of, after me and this last serious girlfriend broke up, it was like 10 years ago. And at first I was kind of depressed over it for a while. I was sad about it. And about 6 months after the fact, we had hung out a few times, and then I realized that it's not going to happen. So I had to make the decision to just fucking stop talking to her and move forward in my life. And for whatever reason, it wasn't easy for me. I don't know why. I thought I was going to marry this girl. I thought I had it all figured out, but I didn't. That's how life goes. But it wasn't so much. I spent about 5 years just really down on myself. And it was like, it wasn't so much just because of this girl, but it was like every girl I had met after her. And I met quite a few girls that were really beautiful, really cool, really awesome girls, but for one reason or another, it didn't work out. Either, you know, it would start off like it was heading in that direction, and then for one reason or another, they weren't into it. Or the few times that I met a girl that really did like me, for whatever reason, I like fucking took off and ran. But this last 10 years of my life has just really changed me inside. It's really been the last 4 or 5 years that I've really realized that, like, if you want something, you gotta speak it. You have to believe it. You gotta think about it. You have to put it out into the universe, man. You got to. I don't know. Like I said, I believe in God, so I pray about it. You know, I talk to God about it, and I can't tell you how many things just happened. Like, I came to realize that, like, in this state, I don't even want to call it depressed, because, like I said, there's people that have lost loved ones, lost children, and all kind of crazy shit. And it's like, that's people that have a right to be depressed over a relationship and over some girls that I met that things didn't work out. I had no right to even call that depression, but I was down. Okay, so hey, it's just the neighbors. Stop. It's just the neighbors. So I started to realize that the problem wasn't in all these girls. It was in me, just like when I was younger. And I started to realize that, like, no fucking wonder nobody wants to be with me in the long term, because I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't content with me anymore. You know, like, I started to feel like maybe something's wrong with me. And then as time went on, I kind of realized that trying to find someone else to dictate your happiness is the worst thing you could do. Because if that person leaves you for whatever reason or anything, you know, you're going to be right back to where you were. You have to find a way to be happy with you without anybody else's help. You have to be happy with who you are, and if you're not happy with who you are, you have to change it. You got to talk about it. You got to bring it into the fucking universe, man. You can't just sit and pout and go, well, poor me, and this ain't fair. Well, so fucking what, man? There's a lot of unfair shit in the world. My parents, I don't know, maybe people didn't get told this growing up. My parents told me growing up, life ain't fair. So get over it and get on. You know, just get over it, man. It's not going to be fair. Now, apparently, the world is trying to turn this place that's just fair to everybody, which I think is not a good thing. You know, without hardship, sometimes it won't, you know, bad things can bring about a greater good. And I know that doesn't sound good to people that are in a bad place, but it's true. Bad things everything happens for a reason. And those bad things can help make you a better person in the end. Now, it might not happen day one, but you got to work on yourself, you know? Like, I decided long ago, like, when I was growing up, since I didn't know how to act, I didn't know how to talk to people, I didn't know what to do. I tried to, like, dress like other people, I tried to like what other people liked. And no wonder I wasn't fucking happy, I wasn't being me. Once I got out of high school, I realized that, damn, if I just be myself, at one, it's okay to just be myself. I'm kind of fucking weird, don't get me wrong, but I'm okay with it. I own it, man. I don't try to hide it. I fucking just blatantly just throw it out there. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You have to know that another important factor is fuck what anybody else thinks. You know, I have a couple close friends and my immediate family. Their opinions do matter to me, but I'm still going to be me and do what I have to do. You know, I'm not, just because their opinions matter doesn't mean I'm just going to push my life in a certain direction just to make them happy, because ultimately I'm responsible for my own happiness. So, give me a second, I had a brain fart there. Now I remember. Fuck what other people think. Fuck it, man. Who cares what somebody thinks about you? When I go out anywhere, I don't go out to bars and shit, but when I just go out in the public, like, the last thing I give a fuck about is what people think. I talk to myself in public, and I see people looking at me like, you know, it's like, dude, don't fucking lie, you do it too. You're just too fucking, embarrassed about it to do it in public. I'm doing the same shit that everybody else does. I just don't care if anybody else sees it, because what a bunch of fucking strangers' opinions that matter of me. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. When I was younger, it did. It really mattered to me, because I felt that I had to try to get people to accept me and like me, and all that. Little did I know that if I just be my fucking self, that's what makes people like you. And that's true for anybody. But there's too much shit out there, trendy stuff, and people who are just die hard trendy. Those people they're not being themselves, man. They could say, well, this is who I am. No, that's who they made themselves. That's who they want to be, because they feel it gives them acceptance from other people. Now, I'm telling you, you got to be you. You know, I try to find stuff that's what I think is the coolest of the cool. You know, the old movies, the old TV shows, the old music, the old guns, the old cars. No matter what you like, there's always going to be some people that like it. But I tend to drift towards the things that most people don't like, you know, because I want to stand out from them. When I was a kid, growing up, I wanted to blend in with the crowd so people wouldn't even notice me. And now as I'm older, I'm like, why the fuck would I ever want to do that? Now, I'm glad my life happened the way it did, because it gives me the perspective of a very open, social person, and it gives me the perspective of a very quiet, shy, reserved, person. So I could see life through both sides of that coin, both sides of that lens. I can see the world from both sides. So it gives me empathy for people who are who aren't open and social, and they just aren't being themselves. I don't know, man. It's like, if you can stop caring what people think and you start being yourself, that's the first step to being happy. And you have to talk about things. Honestly, I want to change the world. I don't know how the fuck it's gonna happen. Just like that girl in college, I had no fucking idea how it was gonna happen. But I talked about it to myself. I spoke it. Probably told a few friends. Got it out in the universe, and the right situations just happened. What are the chances that girl would be sitting downstairs from my class, right? Because when we got done with the test, you could just leave. She left first, and as I'm coming downstairs, I saw her, and my brain just said, that's the girl that knows the girl. Sit down and just strike up a conversation. And back then, I wasn't nearly as social, for me to sit down and do that back then was not as easy as now, and I'll just fucking talk to anybody, I don't care. But, I do want to change the world. I want my name to be a household word. I want everybody to know me, and I want them to know me for something great. I want to change the world for people. I want to change the world for animals, because I love animals. I love animals more than I love people. I think people are fucking assholes as a whole, personally. And animals kind of get a raw deal in the world since we kind of just run shit that, they're pretty much at our mercy. And I don't know, I like to do that, so I talk about it. I like to get that out there. It's like I want to be rich, but not so I can go out and buy a $10 million fucking home and a $1 million car and just try to show off to other people, because people that do that shit are people that are concerned about what other people think. Like all these, like the celebrities out there that have a fucking palace that they live in. You think they're doing it for them? Half of them probably aren't even happy. They're doing it so that these TV shows and this shit will show them and go, look what they have. They're better than you. Look at all the cars and the things and this and that, what they got. And so what, man? Who the fuck needs a palace to live in? Or just a fucking mega mansion to live in? I don't want that. I want a normal home, some old muscle cars, and I don't know, if I had money right now, what car I would buy to drive around all the time would be like maybe an SRT Durango. That's it. I don't want a fucking luxury car or a Maserati or a Rolls Royce or a fucking Bentley or any of that bullshit, because it's just showing off. That's all it is. And it's crazy that people that have all this money are still worried about what people think. Isn't that some shit? All that money, kind of, I don't know. Maybe it makes them happy. Some people, I believe money can make you happy, but that doesn't mean it's going to. And I want money because changing the world is kind of hard to do being broke. That's why I want to be rich. And somehow, some way, I'm going to pull it off. And I've told a handful of people this in my life, but I'm just going to come out here and say it where the whole world could see it. Not that the whole world's going to fucking watch this, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to show y'all that I'm going to speak this shit into existence. I believe it firmly. I believe since I was a kid, I think that's what's kind of shaped my life, is that even as a shy, quiet kid who was kind of a loner and didn't know how to talk to people, I always knew that I'm here for a reason. And it wasn't just some little reason. Like, I've known that, okay, I'm just going to cut me off here in a second, so hold on. Gotta watch the timer. I know that I'm here for something major. I know that God put me here for a reason, to change something, to make a big impact on the world. And if I die without doing that, my whole life will be a complete fucking waste. The whole thing will be just a fucking complete and utter failure and a waste. So, I gotta work on it. I don't know how to work on it. I guess at least now we have avenues like this where we can, get your name out there at least. But somehow, some way, I want to make a difference. I want to make a change for people, to try to help them as a whole to be happier. First thing we need to do is get rid of fucking social media. That's the start. You get rid of all that, I guarantee you lives would be much happier. All right, hold on, here we go. And see, 3, 2,